Good evening, MC Clubbers. It's Wednesday, 5th of August 2020, and apparently it is day 132 since lockdown started all those months ago. When you put it into days, it just seems extraordinary. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm right, I don't know, send me a beer or something, because 132 days. Sure. Oh, and tonight, every time I've got to do this, I've got to click here and go down. Here we go. We had a well-attended AGM, considering the circumstances. Here we all are, masked and distanced. And thank you to all those who attended. I don't know who took this photo. I mean, it's like sloping. Look at the whites. They're all highlighted out. Deary me. The new committee of myself, Bertie, Tracy, Terry, Heidi and Connell are privileged to serve you. We have some things happening in the background. An extension to the star ratings from 5-star up. There is life beyond 5 stars. And also, as promised, a peek at the Constitution regarding nominations for committee members, etc., etc. I will keep you posted. Secret sponsor challenge. Sure, it's getting harder. Thanks to Derek for the updated stats. So here they are, and this is where we are at the moment. And we have got to beat the highest score from all the other years. And 2018 was like a really good year. And that's the red. So you see the red is really quite dominant in everything right now. 2201, we should really be at 26. 1-4, we should be at 2-3. This was Westville Challenge Mono with a touch of colour, which was when we almost took the trophy. We did, but then we didn't. And then 103, that was night lights, whatever. This is the monthly competitions. We still got a way to go. Okay, what happened in 2018? Everyone was on pills or something. And then 2020, salons, there we go. So please carry on entering your salons. The prizes are great. They really are. And so we really need to look at our archives. We need to get out there and take some photos. And I know it's really hard. Since lockdown, 132 days ago, it's been very hard to pick up a camera. We want those prizes. Okay, moving on. Our treasurer is daydreaming about some dollars, so please don't forget to pay your fees. And a message from the competition steward. The current technical challenge is Boca, which is deadline the 10th of August, just around the corner. Boca and Nostalgia events have been opened on PhotoVault. Nostalgia is the next technical challenge. So please be careful when you're uploading photos. Please remember to choose Boca and not Nostalgia for Boca and Nostalgia for Boca and Boca for Nostalgia. I think you know what I mean. And Bertie's going to see this, by the way, and just freak because I'm putting a photo up of him. And so I can already feel the arrows coming towards me and they're going to whiz past my ear just now. Westville Challenge is also drawing to a close, but we still have time to get in those minimalist pictures. 10th September is our last time to enter, so let's make sure the trophy comes to us. As I said, we were so close. 2 years ago we got it, but we didn't really, so then we had to hand it back. And then last year we didn't do it again. So the results tonight will be via Zoom this year. Westville have offered up their Zoom account to us, and we're still sorting out the finer details with the Westville Camera Club Committee, but we will let you know. 2 outstanding KZN Interclub 2020 Maritzburg Camera Club member results. Terry for his comm in the open section, and Rob, well done for his comm in the nature section. We did really well in nature, as I said on WhatsApp on 4th, so very well done to everybody. And so let's get into it. Technical challenge, painting with lights results, then Westville challenge results, and then a short video to inspire you to be a bit nostalgic. Here we go. Okay, so we're on to technical challenge, painting with lights. Terry Byrne was our judge. Thank you very much, Terry. 3-star. Blue Halo, 12 gold, Tracy Rhodes. Nicely done. The lighting is good and the halo draws attention to the mystery object underneath. One criticism, if you're going to place the subject in the center, then you should place it in the center, not just off center. Circle of Flyer, 10 gold Tracy Rhodes. Again, this picture has been well done, and the sparks in the circle provide an interesting hole for the out of focus person in the background. This provides mystery and interest. Well done. Oh, sorry, move my mouse. Colour inverse, 10 gold, Liesl Cooperthwaite. Nicely done. The reflection on the glass sphere is well captured and nicely meets the technical challenge. Flaming glass, 8 silver. This is a well executed picture of a flame. It does not really meet the technical requirements of painting with light, but it is a nice image. Love the Rain, 8 silver. Similar to the previous picture, this is a lovely portrait of a little girl with her umbrella in the rain, but the heart painted about her is almost superfluous to the picture. It's a lovely portrait picture, but the heart painting with light is not the main subject of this picture. Mug on mug, 7 silver. Whilst there is a mug that has been painted with light, it is not a particularly impressive mug. This picture also could have done with a very faint border around it, similar to some of the earlier pictures. Multicolored web, 9 silver. A fairly good attempt to create a spider web in the doorway, and this certainly meets the criteria for painting with light. It's a pity about the piece of wire that is visible across the door that is holding the web steady. This could have been cloned out in post-processing. At 3-star, those little details start to count. Purple feathered whiskey, 7 silver. This is a nice picture, but unfortunately it is a picture of a bottle of whiskey and not really painting with light. Whilst there is some painting with light in the background, that is not the subject of this picture. Full star. Dragonfly, 4 bronze. Unfortunately, I don't see any painting with light in this picture. What I'm seeing is a dragonfly made with beads, which is out of focus. There also appears to be some kind of cleaning up around the edges, which has left some strange artifacts on the picture. There is also a large empty black space that adds nothing to the picture. Flower in silhouette, 7 silver. The light used in this picture is a little bit too harsh. Beaded flower, the wire, and the 2 spots of reflection are too strong in the picture. Also, the wire is not particularly attractive. Perhaps this could have been toned down in post-processing. Wire flower, 7 silver. Similar to the comments in the previous picture. In the previous picture, there was some shadow on the wall which added to the picture. In this picture, there is no shadow, and therefore the space on the right is fairly redundant. Perhaps the glass vase could have been placed centrally. Five-star, abstract light, 10 5-star, sorry, abstract light, 10 gold, Bertie Price. Different and striking. Nicely balanced abstract that meets the technical challenge, painting with light. Lines and curves all add to a strong composition. Cheers, 9 silver. This is another picture where the subject is almost in the middle, but not actually in the middle, and I find that a bit distracting. The very bright light at the source of the sparkles dominates, and perhaps some selective processing, this could have been toned down a bit, and perhaps added some color back into the flying sparks. Lighting in red, 10 gold, Bertie Price. Nice use of the light source to create a lightning effect on the electrical guitar. It works in this case. One single yellow sparkle, 7 silver. Detail on the wire tree is quite good and suitably sharp. There appears to be some selective processing between the tree and the foreground and the background. Some of this is fairly distinct edges which detract from the picture. Shades of Blue, 12 Gold, Bertie Price. Very nice presentation of painting with light. Colours are vibrant and the glass sphere with reverse image works well. Nice image. Just the Last Rose of Summer, 12 Gold, Maxi Holder. Lovely image. The light coming through the rose and being diffused creates a very pleasant image. Nice details in the petals. Junior winner on page 2. Blue Halo, Tracy Rhodes. Well done, Tracy. Senior winner, Shades of Blue, Bertie Price. Well done, Bertie. Okay, thank you very much. So here we are, technical challenge. Not technical challenge, we've just done technical challenge. Westville challenge. Judging Terry Byrne, thank you so much. 1 star. Black and white, 9 silver. I like what you've created here, good idea. Please redo this picture but make the following changes. Put a very fine white border around the edges so that the left edge of the picture can be seen. It would also be quite good on the black pencil against the black background to see just a hint of the edge of the pencil. Also try this with the pencils at different angles. Not corner to corner, but just try some interesting angles. This looks like something that you could repeat. You have a good idea, and with 1 or 2 changes, this could be gold. Hanging out to dry, 8 silver. Another good idea that almost works, but with a few fixes could be gold. Firstly, many judges will complain about there being 2 chilies, but I believe in this case it works nicely. Unfortunately, this is what has let you down is the fact that the chilies and pegs are not sharp enough. A very fine border to distinguish the edge of the picture would also help. Please redo this with a few minor changes and it should get a gold, but good effort from a 1 star. 3 star. Aram Lily, 7 silver. Unfortunately, without reading the title of this picture, I had no idea what I was looking at. Perhaps if there was a little bit more of the flower visible, particularly at the bottom, this might give the picture a bit more context. Boat on the Water, 9 silver. This is another picture that is close but just misses out. There is just a little too much distracting detail in the water ripples, particularly as you move away from the boat towards the top of the picture. If you have a similar picture from this set, perhaps you could try the following. Recompose so that it is on the thirds, bottom left, and use the blurring tool to remove some of the details from the ripples in the water. Perhaps you could also try to convert to high key mono. Froggy Bay, no award. This is not a minimalism picture. On a Golden Pond, 8 silver. Also close but no cigar. This could have been a lovely minimalism picture, but sadly what should be the subject of the picture, the bird, is out of focus, and what is in focus is the reeds and the ripples in the foreground. Colours and depth of field would be lovely, except the focus is on the wrong subject. So sorry, this photo should actually be under 4 star. The slideshow is just a little bit wrong. Where's the fisherman? 6 bronze. Where's the fisherman? Well, that's a question that I would also like to ask. The concept of a person fishing against a blurred background expense of water would make a good minimalism picture. Unfortunately, this one doesn't quite work. If it is possible to revisit the scene, try the following. Find the fisherman and put him or her back in the picture. Zoom out so that the fisherman is relatively small against an empty expanse of water. Use a narrower depth of field so that the ripples of the water are blurred out, or find a day where the water is much smoother. Currently in this picture, the ripples on the water are too detailed for this to be a minimalist picture. There also seems to be a bit of over-processing, and there's a halo effect around the fishing rod. Sorry, let me tick off, I've done that. 4 star. At Peace at Last, 13 merit, Paul Nordier. If anyone wants to understand what minimalism photography is, this is it. Lovely picture and ticks all the boxes. The water is there but almost not visible and does not draw attention away from the subject. If anything, perhaps a horizon would have been artificially added. Lovely picture. Centerpiece, 7 silver. Whereas in the previous picture the background was there but not imposing. In this case there is no background, just a plain white empty space. The subject itself is a little bit too busy to really be minimalism. Eating Frenzy, 9 silver. This is another picture that almost hits the mark but is a little bit too busy to be minimalism. If the picture contained only the 3 birds on the left, this could have been a great minimalist picture, but as it is, there's just too many birds. The setting with the background is great with just enough evidence of the water without being imposing. If you have any other similar pictures from the set, then try it again. Perhaps clone out some of the birds so that there are only a few birds in a largely empty seascape. Also, the birds could be a bit sharper. Stones, 6 bronze. Using a few stones in a setting could be used to create a good minimalist picture, so don't give up on that idea. In this case, it doesn't work for a couple of reasons. 1, the stones are just too big and dominant in the frame. 2, the background tweed blanket is just too busy. 3, there is nothing in the picture that is sharp. Try this again in a slightly different setting, where they are, say in a pond, where there are just a few ripples. Strelitzia, 6 bronze. As a minimalist picture, the subject is just too big and the background is just too busy. Five star. Black backlit geranium, 6 bronze. A very shallow depth of field has meant that only a very small part of this flower is in focus. Also, the subject is just too large, with a large expanse of green that adds nothing to the picture. Backlit leaf, 5 bronze. Similar to the comments in the previous picture, there is no part of this picture that is sharp and the subject lacks any point of interest. It's Raining Frogs, 10 gold maxi holder. Good idea and well executed. In this case, the glass that the frog is on contains little detail but provides context to the picture. The size of the frog is on the glass pane is right, and the trickles of water also add some context without adding too much detail that the picture is no longer minimalistic. Perhaps the detail on the glass could have been softened a little. I think that this could have made the picture even stronger. Mist rolling over the hill, 6 bronze. Unfortunately, this is not really a minimalism picture. There's just too much detail, but without any real topic of interest. The fence is not a particularly attractive fence, and the grass, while not being sharp, just contains too much detail. Find another more interesting fence in another field and try again. Silent Mark, 12 gold, Betty Price. Great picture. The microphone is sharp and striking, and I like the cable tailing into the background and fading away. In this case, I feel that the empty black space to the right of the microphone is adding to the story. Where is the person who should be talking into this mic? Who is the person who should be talking into this mic? Why are they not there? Well done. Spotlight on red, 9 silver. At first glance, this picture is quite striking, with the red and white contrasting strongly against the black background. I like the different shades created by the subtle lighting. However, I find the shadow of the cup on the saucer to be a bit strong, and possibly by selective processing the shadow could have been made a bit more subtle. Also in this case, the large empty black space to the right adds no value. Perhaps if there was some subtle texture on the table that the cup was on, some of this could have been shown under the cup and extending a bit into the empty space and gradually faded to black, but to give some context to that empty space on the right. Okay, thank you. Terry's just got some reworks. I'm going to find them and show them to you now. Okay, so here we go. This is the original photo. And this was just reworked as Terry suggested, moving the boat to the 2/3 bottom left and adding some water and then blurring the water a little bit. I know you also suggested mono, converting to mono. Okay, this was Paul's picture. Beautiful, beautiful picture. Terry tried adding a horizon. When I spoke to him, he said that maybe it was a little bit too harsh, but it's always nice to see a different perspective. This was the picture with just too many birds, so Terry just took some away for a more minimalistic look. I'm saying, but there are more photos, so let me bring these up. Sorry. And this was the one where he said, and he's just added a thin white border. And then the next one, the chilies, again, he's just added a border. Okay, thank you, Terry. Okay, so this is just a video. It's about six minutes long, and it just talks about nostalgia and the different ways, ideas, and a couple of filters and effects that you can have a look at. Okay, here we go.
As always, your very important questions down below.
I turned the sound down, sorry.
Nostalgic images. Let's pick out some good subject matter and let's use a few different effects to bring it all together.
So there are three basic things that we're going to look at to capture and to create the feeling of nostalgia when someone looks at a photo. So the first thing we're going to look at, and this is something that you're going to see as the most common aspect of the three things that we're talking about, is one, the subject matter. So the subject matter is important. Now this old vehicle, my friend's buddy has this great old car, and right there you have the feeling of nostalgia just because it is old and it does create those warm feelings from the past that you may have. So subject matter is really, really important. Again, this very old airplane from long ago, from the 1940s, and that in itself could bring on some nostalgic feelings for some people, but also using black and white, and that's actually tip number 2, tone it or change it to black and white, because so often when we look back at old photos, well, color didn't exist long ago, so everything was in black and white as far as photography was concerned, so that brings on feelings of nostalgia too. So subject matter and treatment. In this one, the remnants of an old gas station. Subject matter, it's nostalgic. This old bus, long out of use, long out of commission, sitting there, and it can bring on feelings of nostalgia. And the color in this too. You know, you don't necessarily see a bus with those colors anymore, so that could be nostalgic too. But subject matter definitely key. Here, the Regent Theatre, the oldest working theatre in Canada, almost 100 years old now, and that, for me, brings on all kinds of feelings of nostalgia, especially since you can go in there and get popcorn and a soft drink for practically nothing, because their prices are somewhere back in the 1970s, so that's kind of nostalgic too. The old long closed Bud's Diner, bringing back memories of perhaps as a child going for ice cream. A portion of a very, very old typewriter. So subject matter, obviously extremely important. Here we go again. Actually, a drive-in. The old bus on the left-hand side, the old fire truck right there in the foreground, and you can see the screen and so on and so forth from the old drive-in. All kinds of things. You can have posters, you can find things, magazines. They can be very nostalgic too. Look at this, the Twinkies. 2 for 10 cents. You know, it's very nostalgic. Brings back memories. This old reader from grade 2, a grade 2 reader. And this is the way it used to be done back in elementary school long ago. We did touch on treatment a little bit. And we can see it here a little bit, but this is subject matter. Just want to show you this one because it's a little bit different. This is the face and the inner workings of a very old watch from the very early 1900s. And what I did was I took two photos, one of the inner workings, one of the face, and I combined them by using a gradient tool and just kind of blended them together. So, old subject matter. Now here, this is where we get back to the treatment part of it, to create nostalgia. This is just a couple of years ago, so this is relatively new, obviously. But something about clotheslines, you know, that could bring out a little bit of nostalgia. But you know it's new. I mean, you can see the bike up on the balcony there. It's a new bike. It's nothing old. But if you tone it, and this was used, this is almost like a sepia sort of tone, a browning of it, it creates that feeling of age, because we associated black and white and this type of a toned image with something that's old and aged. And you can even take it a step further and take it something into a program, say like Analog Effects Pro from the Nix software collection by Google, and you can tone it and make it kind of brownish. But then look at this. I've run it through a software that actually puts scratches on it. So there's scratches to make it look like it's really old and worn and somewhat abused and so on and so forth. And there you can age it as well. Here's a technique I like to use, sometimes for nostalgic reasons. Now, here you have subject matter which is old, so it goes into that, but I'm using a glow. Often when you add a glow to especially an older subject like this, it can bring on feelings of nostalgia, and old bikes work really, really well. Or old vehicles. Here's the old truck. It's got a little bit of a glow on it, and it just gives you that warm feeling, especially with the sun, the way it's hitting the paint. And same here, the glow on this old gasoline pump. I hope that brought a little bit of a warm feeling to you. I hope that gives you a little bit of encouragement.
Okay, so just a comment on, there was like a photo of just a poster. You can't just take a photo of a poster. You need to put that poster in context, I would think, and make a story out of it. You can see all the effects and all of that. I think those are great. Because I don't know who the judge is going to be, but we'll tell them you're allowed to have filters and effects. If you're doing composite pictures, remember that every single thing in that image must be yours. So if you want a piece of wood in the background, you have to go and take a piece of wood. Please don't download a picture of wood off the internet. Okay, the judge has every right to say to you, okay, you look like you've got 4 elements in that photo. I want to see all those elements, the photo of all those elements, the originals. Okay. Okay, folks, so I'm just looking at the time, and it's about 25 minutes, so I'm going to show a video of the National Geographic Photographer of the Year 2014. His name is Art Wolf. It's like such a cool name, and it's about a 7-minute video on just how he goes about taking photos, and I always just love to see what photographers do in real life. We think it's pretty, but it can really be quite ugly and really cold and rainy. So here we go.
When I'm out looking for photographs, it's very much like a hunt. There's treasures out there in the forests, out there in the deserts, in the mountains, in the cities. And it's my job to try to find those photos, to bring something out of that image that impacts people on an emotional level. It doesn't happen every day. When I first started out, it was wood ducks on ponds or little woodpeckers in my backyard. And as I got older and I started traveling, the work has gotten more sophisticated, or so I hope, and it's certainly gotten more abstract.
And before I get out of the vehicle and try to get a little closer, we're analyzing their behavior. So often wildlife photography is sitting back, giving it some time, reading the animals before we get in position to photograph them.
Oh, this is getting great. Look at this one coming straight towards us. Very nice shots. I like that sequence. Very good. Thank you. This is the way wildlife photography should be. The animals are relaxed. We placed ourselves in a situation that they came towards us. We got our shots. Everybody leaves happy. I can't wait to get out there and see these bears. To have a trust, a bond of trust between a wild animal and a human being in their environment, it just makes you feel good. You feel like you're connected to the whole ecosystem here. It's absolutely miserable out right now. It's cold, it's windy, it's rainy, it's bear weather. I love the background, the light, and the thing that I like the most is the fact that it's totally unaffected by our presence. It's a very candid way of photographing a wild animal in a beautiful, simple landscape. So I like to walk around with my subjects and figure out a place to photograph them. Let's go down to the beach, get some photos. We'll have a little lunch. Give me a great shot from about 3 feet away, wide angle. I've approached them from very low. They're curious animals. If you want to get unusual shots, you get into unusual positions. And whenever I can get two different species of animals in the same shot, I like to do that because it shows the relationship. There's different ways one can photograph waterfalls. Most people just tend to shoot a postcard. What I try to do is go in and shoot the details. I put a polarizer on, which takes a little bit of the shine off the water, but more importantly, gives me the ability to take a longer exposure, creating more of a ribbony effect with the water, which creates an artistic slant on this waterfall. It's an animal that you only get glimpses of part of their body until they actually breach. Usually when they get into the rhythm, they come to the surface 3 or 4 times, but that first time they come back up after sounding or diving, they come up with such force that they can launch their bodies right out of the water. These whales should be coming up any second. I got it. That is amazing. That was fantastic. Just a sequence of 2 or 3 shots, and there's more coming up right now. I've come down to the edge of this lake to photograph a beautiful view of the Cuernos Towers in early morning light, and yet it just isn't happening. There's just no light on these mountains, unfortunately. But what is happening is an amazing, spectacular cloud has formed right over the top of these mountains, and that is now going to be my main focus. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I'm always trying to look for something that may be a secondary subject that becomes my most important shot out of the day. You know, it's really what is the challenge, not only for myself and my colleagues, but the amateur, to find something that actually is meaningful to our audience. And I think the personal challenge is to look at the work of others, to see the inception of a new idea, and to take it into your own journey.
Okay, so that's it, folks. Thank you very much. Sorry, I coughed there. I'll try and get rid of it, but I probably won't be able to. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.